There comes a time in every life when the questions grow louder than the answers. A time when you wake up, look around, and realize your reality is nothing more than a reflection of your mindset, not your circumstances, not your upbringing, not your resources, your mindset. That invisible architecture inside your skull, it's the control room of your entire existence. The thoughts you entertain, the beliefs you protect, the stories you tell yourself when no one's listening, these are the seeds. And like it or not, they're always growing. You see, most people never live life, they endure it. They shuffle from one obligation to the next, haunted by a mental soundtrack they never chose, scripted by fear, scarcity, and limitation. They don't even realize they've become prisoners of their own perspective. But the few, the rare few, those who truly rise, those who rewrite their script and sculpt a life of purpose, wealth, love, power, they all know the truth. Mindset is the beginning of everything. Before success touches your hands, it must saturate your thoughts. Before wealth finds your bank account, it must flood your belief system. Before greatness is seen by the world, it must be claimed internally by you. Because your mind is not just a container for thoughts. It is a weapon. It is a compass. It is a battlefield. And if you do not master it, it will master you. Look around. Everything that exists, very skyscraper, every song, every system, every movement was born in the womb of someone's mind. First a thought, then a vision, then a belief, then a behavior, then a result. It all begins there. So ask yourself, what is living inside your mind? What narrative is running the show? What do you actually believe about yourself when the noise fades? Because here's the truth. No one wants to say out loud, your mindset has already built your life. Every win, every loss, every breakthrough, every breakdown, all of it. You didn't attract what you wanted, you attracted what you believed you were worthy of. And if you want to change what's outside, you have to go to war with what's inside. You have to tear down the mental scaffolding of excuses, of stories passed down by people who gave up on their dreams and called it wisdom. You have to challenge every whisper of doubt, every voice that says not you, every ghost of failure that clings to your ambition. Your mind has been programmed, and most of it wasn't your code. It was written by society, by parents who did their best but lived in fear, by teachers who stopped dreaming, by friends who settled, by a culture that profits from your self-doubt. But you're not a slave to that script, unless you choose to be. You can rewrite it, and you must, because the quality of your thoughts will determine the quality of your future. So start there. Start by seeing your mind as your greatest asset, not your bank account, not your resume, not your connections, your mind. Train it like an elite athlete trains their body. Discipline it like a soldier sharpens their reflexes. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. And then build it. Feed it with ideas that stretch you. Flood it with gratitude until fear has no oxygen. Saturate it with clarity so confusion no longer clouds your direction. Because clarity is power. When your mind is clear, your path becomes magnetic. People feel it. Circumstances bend to it. The universe aligns with it. But that clarity doesn't come from comfort, it comes from confrontation. You have to face the parts of your mind that sabotage you. The part that says, I'm not ready. The part that says, what if I fail? The part that says, people like me don't make it. You must meet that voice and override it with a new truth. I am not my past. I am not my fears. I am not my failures. I am the author now. Because the most dangerous person in the world is the one who has taken full ownership of their mindset. That person doesn't react, they respond. That person doesn't seek validation, they create value. That person doesn't ask for permission, they give themselves permission. And that person changes everything they touch, not because they're special, but because they've become intentional. They've chosen to master the asset that governs all others, their own mind. So what does that mastery look like? It looks like a refusal to tolerate negative thinking, even when it feels justified. It looks like creating space for silence, so the noise of the world doesn't drown out your own intuition. It looks like reading when others are scrolling, reflecting when others are complaining, executing when others are hesitating. And most of all, it looks like unshakable belief, not delusion, not hype, not empty affirmation. Real belief, earned belief, built brick by brick through aligned action and consistent self-leadership. That belief turns possibilities into probabilities. That belief makes doors open that were sealed shut for others. That belief becomes your signature frequency, and the world, whether it realizes it or not, begins to respond. Because the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are, and you are what you believe. So train that belief. Sharpen it like a blade. Cultivate it like a garden. Defend it like a kingdom. Because when your mind is aligned, no force on earth can hold you. You become immune to distraction. You become intolerant of mediocrity. You become addicted to growth. And from that place, everything becomes possible. And when everything becomes possible, something inside you shifts permanently. You stop looking at the mountain and seeing an obstacle. You see a mirror, a reflection of your strength, not your weakness, a test, not a threat. Because the mindset you've built no longer flinches at challenge. It no longer folds under pressure. It feeds on it. Pressure becomes the forge. Resistance becomes the training ground. And adversity? That's just another teacher. You stop asking for the path to be easy. You start asking for the strength to endure it, to own it, to bend it in your direction through force of clarity and intensity of intention. That is the power of mindset mastery. You begin to see things others miss, not because your eyes are sharper, but because your lens is cleaner. They see danger. You see opportunity. They see failure. You see feedback. They see limits. You see leverage. You don't just change your thoughts. You change your filters. And that changes everything. But make no mistake, this isn't magic. It's muscle. You build it by doing the reps. Every time you catch a negative thought and replace it with something stronger, you're lifting. Every time you choose belief over bitterness, focus over fear, action over anxiety, you're building. Every time you refuse to let the past dictate your future, you are laying another brick in the fortress of your future self. That self, the one who is wealthy, peaceful, focused, and free, doesn't just emerge by chance. It's summoned by the daily decision to think differently, to believe deeply, to act in alignment with your future, not your feelings. That's the hard part, isn't it? Acting not from emotion, but from intention. Because your feelings will lie to you. They'll tell you to play small, to stay safe, to sit down and shut up. But your mindset, when trained, becomes the override switch. It says, I see the fear, I feel the doubt, but I move anyway. And in that movement, you prove something to yourself. You prove that you are no longer driven by circumstances, you're driven by vision. That your life is not a reaction, it's a response. A deliberate, intentional, powerful response. And every time you respond that way, something ancient and divine awakens in you. You remember what you forgot, that you were never meant to be average. You were never meant to simply survive. You were meant to create, to speak and build and expand, to lead, to rise, to live on purpose, to use your mind not as a prison, but as a platform, not as a container of fear, but as a conductor of fire. This is the awakening. This is the shift. It doesn't come from reading a book. It doesn't come from listening to one speech. It comes from living it. Living the mindset that makes kings out of common men, that makes queens out of quiet women. It's the mindset that says, everything is mine to build, and nothing is outside my reach unless I say so. And that's what separates the leaders from the lost. Leaders own their mindset. Lost people outsource it. Leaders program their minds with purpose. Lost people hand over the remote. Leaders speak life into their thoughts. Lost people let the world speak death into their dreams. So decide. Decide right now. Will I lead my minder? Will I be led? Because you can't fake mindset. It shows in how you talk, how you walk, how you work, how you respond to delay, to rejection, to silence, to success. It's in your tone. It's in your habits. It's in your eyes. It's not just what you think, it's how you carry what you think. So carry it like a warrior. Carry it like someone who knows that mindset is everything and everything begins with the mind. Carry it like your future depends on it, because it does. And the moment you truly grasp that, the moment you stop treating mindset like an accessory and start treating it like oxygen, your life will take on a different pace, a different depth, a different dimension. Because now, you're no longer waking up to survive another day. You're waking up to create one. You're no longer searching for the light. You are the light. And when you live from that space, when your mind is aligned with your mission, your energy becomes undeniable. People won't know what it is about you, but they'll feel it. The room shifts when you enter. Conversations change when you speak. Circumstances bend in your favor, not by luck, but by frequency. You've raised your standard of thought. You've upgraded the software of your being, and the world around you responds accordingly. That's not metaphysics, that's leadership. Because mindset, when mastered, is leadership in its purest form. It's not about titles. It's not about followers. It's not about status. It's about influence. And the first person you influence is you. You lead your fear into faith. You lead your excuses into execution. You lead your distractions into discipline. You lead yourself before you ever lead anyone else. And that kind of leadership, that kind of mindset, it's magnetic. It attracts what others chase. It holds firm when others fold. It builds while others break, because it's built on something deeper than motivation. It's built on identity. And that's the highest level. When your mindset is no longer just a tool, but a reflection of who you are. You no longer try to be confident, you are. You no longer chase clarity, you embody it. You no longer seek permission, you give it. Because the war for your life is always won in your mind, long before it's won in the world. So stop negotiating with your potential. Stop lowering the ceiling to match your comfort. Stop asking, what if I fail? And start declaring, what if I don't? Flip the frame. Change the story. You're not behind. You're becoming. You're not too late. You're right on time for the you that chooses to think differently from this moment forward. And that version of you, that version changes everything. They walk with fire. They speak with conviction. They build not just a business or a brand, but a legacy. One rooted in mindset. One rooted in the relentless decision to rise every single day, no matter what. Because the storms will come. The pressure will build. The critics will talk. The old patterns will scream to be let back in. But you'll smile, breathe deep, and move forward. Why? Because your greatest asset isn't what you own. It's what you think. And you've made up your mind. This life is mine to lead. This story is mine to write. This mind is mine to master. And from this day forward, I don't just think differently. I live differently. And when you live differently, truly live from a mind forged in purpose, calibrated in clarity, and anchored in conviction, the world no longer intimidates you. It mirrors you. What once felt overwhelming becomes weightlifting for your soul. What once triggered you becomes training. What once delayed you becomes divine preparation. Because your mind has matured. It no longer craves easy. It craves growth. You don't want the shortcut, you want the strength. You don't want the fast answer. You want the deep transformation. That is the essence of a liberated mindset. The shift from chasing outcomes to becoming the person who naturally produces them. It's a shift from what can I get to who can I become. From I hope it happens to I create it. From fear-driven living to faith-driven execution. And now you move with a new frequency, one that doesn't ask for circumstances to cooperate but commands progress regardless of them. Your vision is no longer held hostage by external validation. You know what you've planted. You trust the process. You honor the process. Because now you understand there's no shortcut to alignment. There's no hack for self-respect. There's no cheat code for greatness. But there is mindset. And that mindset shows up in every micro choice, in the books you read instead of the content you binge, in the hours you invest in building when others are waiting to be discovered, in the silence you embrace when others drown in distraction. It shows up in how you speak to yourself when no one's watching. It shows up in how you bounce back after failure. It shows up in how you treat others when no one can benefit you. That's your real wealth, not what's in your account, but what's in your awareness. Because mindset isn't the beginning of success, it is success. It's how you frame the storm. It's how you harvest pain for wisdom. It's how you breathe through chaos without becoming it. And when you've built that kind of mind, you become a mountain, unmoved, unshaken, unbreakable. People ask, how do I stay motivated? You don't. You stay disciplined. Motivation is emotion. Mindset is architecture. Build it right, and your emotions don't run you. You run them. Build it right, and the days you feel nothing become the days you do everything. Because your standards no longer bow to your mood. Your identity has taken over. And identity eats willpower for breakfast. So if you want to become unstoppable, don't work harder. Think deeper. Don't just grind a line. Don't just hope design. Because mindset is not just your secret weapon, it's your foundation. It's the floor you stand on, the ceiling you break through, the mirror you stare into when the world goes quiet. And when that mindset is mastered, here's what you'll find. Your energy will feel expensive because it is. Your time will feel sacred because it is. Your focus will feel bulletproof because it is. And the life you once thought was out of reach, it'll be in your hands because you built the mind to hold it. And when you hold that life in your hands, you won't be surprised because by then you'll know it didn't arrive by accident. It arrived because you did the work quietly, relentlessly, when no one was cheering, when no one was watching, when no one believed but you. You chose not to drift through life hoping for breakthroughs. You became one. And let that be the final truth etched into your soul. You didn't find success. You forged it. You didn't stumble upon greatness. You summoned it. You didn't get lucky. You got aligned. And now the fire that burns in your mind, clear, focused, and unyielding, is the flame that lights the path for others. You've become more than a person who thinks positively. You've become a force that thinks powerfully. Every thought you think now is an investment. Every word you speak is a declaration. Every decision you make is a vote for the future you demand. And that future, it's already on its way. It's already bending toward the strength of your belief. Because mindset is not just about what you overcome, it's about what you become. A leader, a visionary, a creator of impact so deep the world will feel the ripple long after your time here is done. So when they ask who you are, don't tell them. Show them. Show them in the way you think, in the way you speak life into dark rooms, in the way you build when it's hard and rise when it hurts and lead when it's lonely. Show them with a life so aligned, so fierce, so unwavering that they have no choice but to look at you and see proof. Proof that mindset is everything. Proof that belief is the beginning of destiny. Proof that you can change your mind and change your life. So let this moment be your ignition point. No more waiting, no more doubting, no more postponing the power that's already within you. You've got the asset. Now own it, train it, trust it, and watch the world rise to meet the mind of someone who finally understood the truth. Your mindset is your most valuable asset. And now it's your greatest weapon. And with that weapon sharpened, with your mental armor fitted tight, and your clarity like a blade, you are ready to move through life not as a wanderer, but as a warrior. No more flinching, when problems approach. No more shrinking to make others comfortable. No more dimming the light you were born to shine, because you've recalibrated. You've rebuilt the control center of your life, and that means you now move differently. You think differently. You are different. You are no longer held hostage by the voice of your inner critic. You've replaced it with the voice of your inner commander. That voice says, I lead, even when I'm uncertain. I show up, even when I'm tired. I speak life, even when the world speaks doubt. I move forward, even when the path is unclear, because I trust who I've become. This is the quiet confidence that comes from a forged mindset. Not arrogance, not false bravado, but real power. Power that doesn't shout because it doesn't have to. Power that doesn't posture because it doesn't need to be seen to be secure. Power that creates results in silence and lets those results speak volumes. And what you'll discover over time is that your mindset begins to affect everything you touch. It affects how you lead your family, how you nurture your body, how you treat your time, how you elevate others. Because when your mind is rich, your world begins to reflect that wealth. You stop seeing time as something to kill and start seeing it as something to build with. You stop seeing people as threats and start seeing them as mirrors. You stop waiting for luck and start trusting your alignment. You begin to trust yourself so deeply, so completely, that self-doubt can no longer hijack your potential. And from that place, from that mental ground zero, you start building not just a career, not just a lifestyle, but a life of substance, of meaning, of purpose. A life that doesn't just impress people, but impacts them. Because that's what a mastered mindset gives you. It gives you peace in the storm, power in the pause, precision in the process. It gives you an unshakable core from which to live boldly and lead authentically. And in the end, when the lights fade and the applause dies down, that mindset will be your greatest asset, your most trusted friend, and your lasting legacy. So honor it, feed it, protect it, and above alive it. Because you were never meant to live a life of reaction. You were meant to live a life of intention. And that life, it begins right here with your next thought. Choose it wisely. Choose it powerfully. Choose it like your life depends on it, because it always has. And now you're ready. Now you walk into the world with something most never touch in their lifetime. Not luck, not circumstance, not talent, but self-mastery. The kind of internal power that can't be taken, only built. The kind of unshakable presence that doesn't just survive. Pressure, it thrives in it. Because when the mind is solid, the world loses its grip on your emotions. When the mind is focused, time bends to your will. When the mind is trained, you don't beg for the future. You command it. This is the final gift of mindset mastery. Freedom. Not freedom from difficulty, but freedom within it. Not freedom from failure, but freedom to rise above it. Not freedom from responsibility, but the privilege of it. Because responsibility is power. And the greatest responsibility you will ever accept is the responsibility to think powerfully, to speak intentionally, to build relentlessly, to believe when no one else does. This is what separates the few from the many. This is what forges the unbreakable. And if you ever forget, if the world gets loud again, if fear tries to creep back in, just return to the truth. Your mind is not a reflection of your past. It's the construction site of your future. And you are the builder. Brick by brick, thought by thought, day by day. You don't need a sign. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You already have the most powerful asset in the universe. Now all that's left is to use it. So go. Go live like your thoughts are sacred. Go move like your belief is bulletproof. Go speak like your words are seeds. And go lead like the world is waiting on your courage, because it is. You are the thinker. You are the creator. You are the force. And your mindset is the beginning of everything. Because once you understand that your mindset is not just a tool, but the source, you begin to walk through life with a new kind of gravity. You don't chase validation. You carry it within. You don't beg for opportunity. You become opportunity. You don't hope for direction. You embody direction. Your very presence becomes a declaration. I am here on purpose, with purpose, for purpose. And this purpose is no longer abstract. It's in the way you live. It's in the way you get up when life knocks you down. It's in the way you love without conditions, serve without recognition, and grow without permission. Because when your mind is clear, you don't just see the world, you see through it. You see through the fear. You see through the lies. You see through the limitations they taught you to believe. And suddenly, life becomes less about proving and more about expressing. You're not here to impress. You're here to imprint, to leave something behind more meaningful than applause, to build something deeper than success, to become someone so aligned with truth, so anchored in discipline, so lit with inner fire that the world cannot ignore your example. Because you are the message. Your mindset is the messenger. And every action you take from this place becomes a ripple in the ocean of human potential. So let it ripple. Let your mindset speak before you do. Let your energy walk into the room before your voice ever does. Let your decisions reflect the strength of a person who has faced the battlefield of their own thoughts and won. Because no enemy is more powerful than the one you defeat inside. And now, with that battle behind you, with that clarity ahead of you, and that fire burning within you, you don't just move forward. You lead forward, not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who's done the one thing most never will. You took full ownership of your mind, and that changes everything. So whatever happens from this moment forward, never forget who you've become. Never forget what you now hold. Never forget what's already inside you. You don't need to be rescued. You don't need to be discovered. You don't need to wait for a sign. You are the sign. You are the spark. You are the shift. So go live like it. Lead like it. Love like it. And never again let a single thought pass through your mind that denies the greatness already etched into your soul. Because your mindset is not just your most valuable asset, it is your legacy. Now rise and live like it. Because when you rise with that awareness, when you move through each hour, each challenge, each decision with the mind of a builder, not a beggar, you become untouchable. You'll walk through storms without breaking. You'll handle rejection without retreating. You'll embrace solitude without fearing it. Because you've trained the one thing that governs all others, the quality of your thinking. And when you operate from that level, your life becomes a work of design, not default. You wake up and you don't ask, what will the day bring me? You declare, what will I bring to the day? You're not waking up hoping to survive the calendar. You're waking up ready to bend it to your will. You're not running from fear. You're running toward your future. And you've stopped apologizing for wanting more, because now you understand wanting more is not greed, it's growth. It's your soul's way of reminding you, we're not done yet. There's still more to give, more to create, more to become. That's why this mindset matters. Because life will test you. It will ask, how bad do you want it? It will whisper, are you sure you're enough? It will tempt. Maybe you should just settle. But a trained mind doesn't take the bait. It doesn't shrink. It doesn't stall. It stands. Rooted. Ready. Relentless. Not because it's fearless, but because it has learned to fear nothing more than wasted potential. So from this moment on, let the world watch. Let it wonder. Let it try to make sense of the pace you keep, the vision you carry, the fire you refuse to let die. Because you know the truth, they don't. You weren't lucky. You were intentional. You weren't chosen. You chose yourself. You weren't different. You decided. And that decision, the decision to build the mindset that leads your life instead of follows it, that's the moment your story began to change. That's the moment the world started bending in your favor. And now it's just a matter of time. So don't slow down. Don't question the path. Don't dilute your focus for the comfort of those who fear your growth. Keep going. Keep building. Keep thinking with power, purpose, and precision. Because everything you've ever wanted is already on its way. And your mindset is the reason it will know where to find you. And when it finds you, when success, peace, freedom, and impact come knocking, you'll be ready. Not overwhelmed, not unworthy, not afraid. Ready, because you did what few ever do. You mastered the voice inside before chasing the noise outside. You became the calm in the chaos, the clarity in the confusion, the consistency in the inconsistency. You stopped looking for a savior and became your own solution. And now, every step you take carries a new weight, a weight of certainty, a weight of earned confidence, a weight of truly knowing that there is no external win more powerful than an internal alignment. Because when your mind is aligned, even setbacks serve you, even delays develop you, even pain purifies you. That's the gift mindset gives you, not perfection, not constant ease, but power in all circumstances. Because you no longer react, you respond. You no longer complain, you recalibrate. You no longer shrink, you strategize. You're playing a longer game now, a deeper game, a higher one. You're not here for applause. You're here for alignment. You're not chasing attention. You're channeling intention. And you don't just think differently, you live differently. With presence, with fire, with unshakable peace. Because the world didn't change, you did. And in doing so, you've become something rare. A person who leads themselves. And make no mistake, that's the rarest currency in the modern world. Self-leadership. The ability to hold your own mind in high standard when no one is looking. To create structure in the middle of storms. To choose the long road when shortcuts tempt. To carry vision like a torch in the night while others stumble in the dark. This is what makes you powerful. Not that you have all the answers, but that you've mastered the one thing that makes every answer accessible. Your mind. So let that be the standard now. Every morning you rise, train it. Every challenge you face, sharpen it. Every goal you set, align it. Every room you walk, into lead it. Because the world is filled with minds that have been sold, silenced, sedated. But yours is awake, alive, activated. And when an awakened mind meets an aligned mission, there is nothing, no voice, no setback, no circumstance that can stop it. So go. Lead with that fire. Think with that clarity. Live with that intention. And let your life become the loudest proof that there is no greater asset, no greater power, and no greater freedom than a mind you have fully, finally, and fiercely claimed as your own. Because the moment you claim your mind, you claim your life. You break the contract with mediocrity. You cancel the inheritance of fear passed down by generations too afraid to rise. You disrupt the lineage of limitation. And in its place, you plant something new, something unshakable. You plant vision where there was once vagueness. You plant ownership where there was once blame. You plant destiny where there was once doubt. And you water it daily with thought, with action, with alignment, with fire. That fire doesn't flicker anymore, it roars. It roars through your routines. It roars through your relationships. It roars through every decision you make, because now your decisions are not just reactive, they're rooted. Rooted in identity. Rooted in clarity. Rooted in a future only you have the courage to see. And that's the difference. People with average mindsets need proof before belief. People with legendary mindsets believe until the world produces the proof. They move in faith. They act in alignment. They trust the unseen because they know the seed is already planted. And every move you make from this place becomes sacred. Not because it's perfect, but because it's intentional. You've left the life of randomness behind. You've left the life of waiting behind. You've chosen to build. And every builder knows the strongest foundations are forged in discipline, not motivation. You're not here to feel good all the time. You're here to become the kind of person who shows up no matter what. That's the power you carry now. And it's not loud. It's not flashy. It's silent. It's steady. It's real. It's the power of a trained, tested, and trusted mind. So if the world ever asks how you became who you are, if they ask how you kept building while others broke, if they ask how you stayed grounded while everything shifted, you won't need to say a word. Your results will answer for you. Your energy will tell the truth. Your legacy will echo it loud. And it all began here. Not with luck, not with a handout, not with applause, but with a decision. The decision to take your greatest asset, your mindset, and make it your greatest weapon. So now, breathe deep, lift your head, stand tall, and carry that weapon into the world. Because you're no longer just chasing success. You've become it.